Welcome in, welcome in. Take a seat, relax, and the show will be starting very soon. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. So, this stream is going to be a little bit different this time. Not going to do any games or anything crazy. Today, we are going to be starting on a little story I've been working on for quite some time. We'll be reading the first couple chapters of The Mark of Fate's Call. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. Many eons ago, before time ever wrote history, two entities emerged from the tempest of space, a being of light, purity, and peace, and a being of shadows, chaos, and death. Together they brought forth life and form to the desolate rock. From the light being's size rose the merfolk, the fae, and the vampiric. From the shadow being's blood, reptilians, the undead, and the werebeasts took their steps on the earth. The world was in harmony, and everything was calm. The species paying respects to their parent deity. Even from their union, humans arose on earth. But as time moved forward, the beings of the shadows slowly turned their devotion to the being of light's guidance. enraging the being of shadows, sorry. In retaliation, he formed a new race out of his own flesh, the Demon Kin. Creatures made in the shape of their creator, with power over fire and trickery. The Demonkin manipulated the humans to attack their own race, the other races. Feuds between the races ensued, and the world fell into chaos, bloodshed, and war. In her grief, the being of light created from her tears the angel folk to protect the races and sealed away the demonkin into the shadows. With sorrow and regret, she killed the being of shadows, scattering the pieces across the stars, never to be seen again. Peace returned to the planet for one and all, but only few can feel the underlying fear. Can the immortal truly die when the darkness still remains? Chapter 1. That single moment. I can still remember that dream, so vivid that I could assume it to be reality. The blood moon was full in the starless night, casting a scarlet hue over the forest. It was as if the sky itself bled with the tears that dried on my cheeks. I remembered the echo of crackling flames surrounding me as trees were ablaze, burning. I remember the echo. I remember my fur tingled with a slight singe, the smoke suffocating my every breath as ash clung to my clothes. Most of all, I remember his scent. I couldn't see his face, but his scent, a mix of smoky cedar and musk, an undertone of sweetness like honey. Yes, it was that scent that pulled me to safety. The scent of my fate, my destiny, my beloved mate. And someday, I'll meet him again. My eyes opened to the sound of my alarm clock as my mom shouts from downstairs. Adrian! Are you awake yet? You'll be late for school! I groan as I roll over and sit up. It's just another day. Damn it. Yeah, I'm awake, Mom. Jeez. I sigh as I get out of bed and put on my uniform. Thank the moon, the faculty allowed me to wear a girl's uniform. I did always look better in a skirt, I chuckled to myself as I did a small twirl. After checking my appearance once more in the mirror, I rushed downstairs without grabbing breakfast and out the door. To the School for the Unnatural, Lunar Academy. The town that I call home, Graniteport, New York. It's a place where humans and the supernatural live in equality and peace. From reptilians to the undead, fae and merfolk, even werebeasts and vampires coexist with humans. Truly a secluded paradise of prosperity. Protected for eons by a barrier created by the ancient angel folk. But even in the sight of peace, there's always some squabbles between races. Reptilians despise the merfolk, fae look down on the undead, and werebeasts, like myself and my family, well, it's natural for our race to be at odds with vampires. It's common in our blood. We could never control it, even if we tried. It's a deep sense, a deep natural instinct, as my father used to tell me, but I never understood it. Oh well. Damn, it's cold out today. Those fae really need to adjust the climate again. Reptilians will hibernate if they don't fix that. Jeez. I huffed to myself as I ran down the path towards campus. The cobblestone streets winding into the gates of a large building, marked by moss and time as the low gong of the bell in the tower echoed out in the crisp air, making me let out a low growl of annoyance and pick up my pace. Late again. Just another day, all right. I managed to reach my class with a screeching halt and slammed the door open, panting from the strain. Sorry I'm late again, Mrs. Ederin. I stumbled to my desk and plopped down as my teacher, a woman with long silver hair, fin-like ears, and eyes as sharp as the teeth of a great white shark, sighs at me with disappointment as she adjusts her glasses with a gentle push against the bridge. This is the third time this week, Mr. Arwin. I would have you clean the classroom for this, but since we have a new student today, your punishment will be to guide them and give them the tour. Please come in now. My classmates and I look over as a man walks in. His skin as pale as freshly fallen snow, eyes as dark as the night itself, and short, deep silver hair. But that's not what caught my attention. His scent, sweet like honey, and yet there's something familiar, like cedar? No, it can't be. Could it? At last, I found him, my destined beloved, but he's a vampire? My name is Lucas Marcellus. His voice, smooth like silk, but so cold and empty, as though his heart was made of ice and lost all emotions and hope. I don't blame him if that's the case. This town is quite boring and, in honesty, way too quaint. But still. All right, Mr. Marcellus. Take a seat next to Adrian Arwin in the back row. He will be your guide around campus for the next couple days. Mrs. Adarin shoots me a glare as I sigh and stand up to show him where I am. Yes, Mrs. Adarin. I huff with a slight growl, my tail flicking in annoyance from under my skirt, as she snaps again. And put your tail away, Mr. Arwin! I can feel my face heat up with a blush as my classmates snicker while I hide my tail. For a moment, though, I thought I saw Lucas's eyes widen for a small second. Recognition? Or was it just shock from my tail popping out? I couldn't tell, really. It's against Academy policy to reveal our true forms on campus. Unless it is something you can't control, such as ear shape for the Fae and Merfolk, or eye color and fangs like the vampires. For reptilians, it's their scales and the undead. Well, there's a special tonic given for the smell of decay now, so I guess there is no issue. My thoughts were interrupted as Lucas sits at the desk next to me, not even passing a glance. Whatever, I guess. As I try to focus on the lesson, I can't help but blush as a cross breeze from the window carries his scent to my nose, reminding me of that dream. My breath getting heavier with every moment of inhaling that sweet musk of his, as if my soul aches and cries for him. No way, no way, no way, no, no, no! I have to forget about him. We're enemies. He's a vampire. I'm a werewolf. Not happening. Our races are meant to be enemies. It is in our nature. It's in our blood. It's what we're supposed to do. It's our instinct and nature. We're supposed to hate each other, right? I can't help myself but take a tiny glance at him, only to realize that he's looking at me too. Ugh, our eyes met, and I quickly turned away, my cheeks burning with a crimson blush. Geez, this is gonna be a rough few days indeed. The bell chimes, marking the end of class as I sit up with a start after Mrs. Ederin whacks me awake. Damn, that woman has a rough right hook. Huffing as I stand up, rubbing the back of my head. Jeez, that hurts. Really need to put a rule about teachers hitting their students. That damn fish. I muttered under my breath and sigh, seeing Lucas leaving already. Hey! Nobie, wait up! I have to show you around! I called out as I chased after him, trying to keep my irritation in check. Of all beings on this planet, my fated mate is this damn vampire. No, well, at least this won't be a normal day after all. The hours pass like an awkward tension, as I give Lucas a tour of the academy, explain the classes and club rooms. But he's so quiet. Jeez. Okay, so down this hall are the physical based classes like the gymnasium, dance studio, weight room, and pool. Do you have any questions so far? I try to sound nice and friendly, but nah, was all that came from his lips. Seriously, what is with this guy? Let out an exasperated sigh and continue on with the tour until the bell rang for lunch. The cafeteria was bustling with students as usual, some bringing their own lunches, but luckily the staff provides meals for all dietary needs, from vegan for the fae to raw meat for the undead and werebeasts. Even donated blood for all the vampires and normal meals for the humans. Even out of the norm replacements like soy-based meat, tomato juice, anything for those who prefer it at least. Okay, Lucas, the fridge is to the left. It has all the donated blood from the blood bank. Just pick your preferred type and use your student ID to pay for at the register. I got in line at the butcher kiosk for raw meat. At least it's boar meat today. Humans raise the best livestock. Can I get some of the back fat and shoulder meat? I didn't notice my tail popping out and wagging from under my skirt as I eagerly received my order, panting in hunger until a familiar, deep, rough voice growled from behind me, snapping me from my thoughts and making my eyes narrow. Ayo, femboy freak! I growl and turn to see a muscular were-lion smirking at me, a bunch of werebeast females clinging to him. What do you want, Peter? I snarled, gripping my lunch tray. This prick is always so annoying. Geez, it's just another day after all. Peter chuckles in a cocky attitude as he steps too close to me and cups my chin in a tight grip. Come on now, puppy. Why don't you just accept my affections and join my pride? You can be my right hand, and you'll be the crown jewel of my harem. I bark loudly and jump back away from him, my ears and tail fully revealed now. Screw the damn rules at this point. I told you many times already, I refuse to be your damn bitch! I howl and lunge at him, claws extended as we fight in a flurry of growls and fur tufts. The squabble lasted for minutes until a magical energy pulled us apart. Principal Mordeban, a hunched fey man, wrinkled with age and wisdom, tapped his cane on the floor, forcing Peter and I to a sitting position. Now, younglings. Enough with this bickering and bloodshed. How do you intend to coexist in this town if you can't even learn to get along on campus? With a wave of his cane, Peter and I are dragged away growling to the nurse's office. In my anger and annoyance, my eyes widen as I notice Lucas in the crowd of students. Crap! I was supposed to show him around, but there was something different in his eyes as he sipped on a bottle of blood. Cold, but he looked angry? But his eyes aren't on me, but shifted to the left, towards Peter. What is going on through that vamp's mind? Chapter 2. Those Crystal Eyes. I remember the night of the fire. It was so long ago, when I went to my family's summer home as a child. even though I wasn't really interested in playing like my brothers and sisters. It wasn't until that night I left the safety of the villa after seeing a bright glow from the forest down below that I had to go investigate. The trees were burning. The flames seemed almost mystic, only reaching a small area in the center clearing. The moon faded to a crimson hue, unnatural yet beautiful. I could hear crying from within the flames, and I felt as though my heart pulled me further into the blaze. That's where I saw him, a young werewolf boy, about my age, I think. But something was odd about him. His fur had a reddish hue, an aura of magic that matched the flames themselves. They danced within him. Did werewolves have magic abilities? No, that shouldn't be possible. But his aura wasn't the same as the Fae or vampiric. It seemed more ancient and dark. Hey, are you okay? Let's get out of here. Uh, Take my hand. As the boy turned, I couldn't help but gaze in awe, my heart skipping a beat. His eyes, beautiful shade of purple, and the glow of the fire could only enhance the beauty before me, like a pair of shimmering crystals. What's your name? I ask without thinking. But as he opens his mouth to speak, the vision fades with the sound of curtains opening, and I am awoken from my slumber. Blast it all. And here I believed I would finally remember his name. I sigh and sit up. My servants bow as I stand from my bed. The daily greetings and routine. So boring. Get up, get bathed and dressed, feed and be taken to school. How I detest this life of luxury. I can only pray that this new school may lead me to some clue about that memory that haunts my sleep each night. Even a sliver of hope of finding my first love, my puppy with the crystal eyes. As I gazed out the window of the car, I caught a glimpse of a figure running in the same direction of the academy. That soft black hair. I can't help but gasp slightly. In a single moment, I almost saw their eyes. Could it be? I tried to get a better look, but the car was moving too fast. Though, that uniform. So he goes to Lunar Academy too. Principal Mordevan shows me to my classroom upon my arrival. He seems kind and wise, like the grandfather of the campus. Alrighty there, young Marcellus. Please wait here until your teacher calls you in. You'll be assigned a guide for the next couple days. I hope you enjoy your time here. He smiles, and I bow respectfully. Thank you for your welcome and kindness, good sir. Blessings of the moon upon you and your good health. He only chuckles and taps my shoulder with his cane. Now, my boy. No need to use proper manners here. Don't worry about etiquette either. I know your family is one of history and tradition, but feel free to lighten up a bit. Enjoy your youth while you can. Have a good first day now. I crack a smirk and nod as he leaves. I stay waiting outside the door until I hear the teacher, Mrs. Ederin, call me in. The door opens, and as I step inside the classroom, I notice the girls blushing and the boys looking like they were envious. Typical. But one face stood out over the crowd. Those short curls. The feminine frame for a boy. But most of all, those light purple eyes, shining like amethyst crystals. I could never forget them. My eyes widened slightly as the teacher pointed him out and said his name. Adrian. My first love. My puppy with the crystal eyes. His name is Adrian. I feel my heart skip a beat, but I keep a stoic expression and take a seat next to him. I can only wonder if he recognizes me. We were only children back then. Would he remember me? Does he feel the same for me? I sneak a glance at him, only to see he is looking at me too. His cheeks flushed as he looks away. So cute. Soon enough, class ends and I follow Adrian around as he gives me the tour. In truth, I couldn't pay attention to anything he was explaining, but I did not want him to know I was only gazing at him. Uh, so I only replies with vague, mm-hmm. As we reach the cafeteria, I get myself a bottle of blood from the fridge. Type AB negative. Thank goodness. The school has many different types. I pay for my drink when I hear Adrian growl loudly and turn my head. To my shock, I see him fighting with a werelion. I feel my cheeks burn with a blush watching him take on a male much bigger than himself with such ferocity and power, reminding me of that night so long ago. Finally, Principal Mordevan arrived and separated them. Truly, Fey magic is amazing to behold. But I noticed the cut in Adrian's ear and blood dripping down his cheek and arms. A deep anger grows within me, and I struggle to restrain. How dare that wereline hurt him? How dare anyone hurt him? Adrian. My Adrian. My puppy. He is mine. My heart screams out as the bottle shatters in my grip, and I vow to myself, I will protect him. I'll make him mine, once and for all. Never again will he shed a single tear. Chapter 3. Voice of the Forgotten. Lucas had finally reached the nurse's office and sees Adrian being bandaged by the nurse. An undead woman named Miss Selmin. So sorry about that. An undead woman named Miss Selmina. Oh, right. That should do it, Adrian. You really need to stop getting into fights with other werebeasts when you lose your temper. Adrian snarled as his ears twitched in annoyance. It's not my fault those perverted males won't back down when I say no the first time. So they deserve to feel the sting of my claws. Miss Selmina sighs in worry, then notices Lucas and smiles as she pats Adrian's head. Go on now. Your friend is waiting. Adrian looks up to see Lucas standing there. His stone cold expression. But there was something else in his eyes. Worry? More like a hidden protectiveness? No, it couldn't be. Adrian rubbed his eyes and assumed he's imagining it. After concealing his ears and tails again, Adrian sighed and got up. Ugh, sorry you had to see that, newbie. But I'll just say that this isn't the only time you'll see me get into scraps like that. Lucas looks at Adrian, with a hidden worry behind the icy exterior, but rubbed the back of his neck as he glanced away. There's nothing to be apologetic for. But I was curious. Why? Why did that all begin? Adrian almost seemed to flinch at the question as his eyes shifted to a somber expression, as if embarrassed to even acknowledge the question at all before plopping back into a chair and letting out a huff. It began back in my childhood. As you may know, all werebeasts are ranked as soon as they are born. Bloodlines, body type, power levels, and whatnot are all measured. And depending on the results, a werebeast is either an alpha or beta, or in a rare case, they end up in omega. Unfortunately, for some unknown reason, Adrian sighed heavily. I am none of those. The doctors, nor my own family knows why. Apparently, I'm considered an enigma. Something completely unknown or impossible. Adrian growls annoyed, then scratches his head. Anyways, is because I am an enigma. Many werebeasts are attracted to me. Some because, well, they are perverted idiots like Peter. Others are more skeptic on my actual level. And only a couple are just curious of why I am as I am. But even so, I refuse to show my belly and be claimed. Not until I find him again. Lucas's eyes widened slightly as Adrian blushed and turned away. As if an unknown instinct took over, Lucas took a breath. Adrian, His sentence was interrupted by the loud gong of the bell. Next class. Gym class. Well, let's get going, newbie. Adrian sighed as he stood up and walked out of the room and towards the gym. Lucas couldn't help but blush. The words echoed in his mind over and over again. Not until I find him again. His mind raced as fast as his heart did, with all the possibilities, as he caught up with Adrian. Soon enough, class began. The merfolk and reptilians at the pool, the fae and undead at the yoga room, and the werebeasts hogging the weight room. Well, that's normal. As Adrian walks to the boys' locker room to change, Lucas couldn't help but blush with images in his mind, but follows into the changing room. Soon enough, Lucas catches the glance of Adrian, shirtless. His eyes widen as he feels the heat filling his cheeks. My gods, his skin, his body. Lucas's mind was whirring with desire and lust. With a shake of his head, he snapped out of it and changed clothes into his gym uniform, unaware of Adrian's wandering gaze. Soon enough, all the students were done changing and stepped out into the field. A tall, muscular reptilian male stood there with a whistle around his neck. All right, Roots, listen up! His voice bellowed out to a degree where werebeasts covered their ears. Today we are running laps. You lot will be called one by one and be timed. If you are in a sport or on the track team, please stand aside and you will be timed differently. Everybody else, line up! The students all replied in unison. Yes, Coach Keenmore! Then separated into different groups depending on sports, track, or neither. One by one, the students who were not in sports teams took their turn running 5 laps around the track. Every time, their friends were cheering them on from the sidelines. That is, until Adrian was called. Lucas noticed the smiles turning lustful or cruel as the males started catcalling and barking at Adrian, while he could only sit on the bleachers and watch, his possessive temper stewing below the surface. Adrian grits his teeth and takes his stance at the starting line as Coach Keenmore blows the whistle. Without a second of hesitation, Adrian took off like a bullet from a rifle, speeding so quickly while trying to ignore the wolf whistles and teases. 1 lap, then 2, then 3. It wasn't until the 4th lap that Lucas could feel something in the air, a familiar yet uncomfortable energy overflowing with an ominous aura. A feeling he hadn't felt since his childhood, and it was emanating from Adrian. Suddenly, there was a shout from the crowd of students. Hey guys, look at the pup! Doesn't he look a bit odd? I thought his hair was black. When did it suddenly turn red? Lucas's eyes widen in fear as he looks over at the track. Adrian was still running, but something was wrong. His ears and tail were out, but seeming to fade to a crimson red. His eyes were tinted red as well, and seemed to glow. But what surprised Lucas most? With every step, small embers and flames crackled and ignited Adrian's feet, his speed building faster and faster. 4 laps, 5, but then 6, 7, 8, as if Adrian couldn't stop. The flames growing more and more, until a ring of fire blazed on the track, and yet Adrian didn't stop running. In fact, he only ran faster, as if the flames didn't faze him. His eyes resembled those of a predator who is hunting down prey. Adrian, stop! Lucas called out, fear and worry in his voice as he prayed Adrian would come back to his senses. But Adrian didn't stop. Without any hesitation, Lucas grits his fangs and jumps in front of Adrian, catching him on the next lap, holding on tight and enduring the pain of the flames. Please, Adrian, snap out of it. You need to come back to your senses, please. Lucas cried out as tears ran down his cheeks. Adrian's eyes glowed bright as he snarled and thrashed in the vampire's grip, his voice growling as if it's not just his own anymore. Unhand me, puny vampire! This world shall burn to ashes! The angels will fall once and for all! Lucas gasped in fear, but in a moment of desperation, his eyes closed, and his lips quivered with a whisper. Come back to me, puppy. Adrian's eyes widened as he felt the warmth of Lucas's lips on his own in a tender kiss. The fire began to subside as Adrian's fur faded back to black, and his eyes shifted back to their shimmering purple. Lucas? What's happening to me? Adrian's voice cracked in fear and confusion while he was pulled into a tight embrace. Shh, 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 shh. Do not worry about that for now. I'm just glad you're yourself again. Lucas sighed as he held Adrian close. And yet many thoughts were going through his mind. Why did his fur and eyes turn red? What power does Adrian truly have? Plus, with what he said still echoing in his mind, what secret is hidden within the blood of his crystal-eyed puppy? And with that, we'll leave it for now. Until next time. I hope you guys really liked the first 3 chapters of A Mark of Fate's Call. I'll be working on it little by little. But definitely leave a like, make sure to follow, and I hope to see you all next time. Hopefully, we'll see what happens next, and hopefully find out what's happened to the poor little Adrian and his forbidden lover. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming in on this late night stream. Sleep well, eat well, and enjoy those starry vibes. Good night, everybody.